Almost there. Chapter 9, Tiana. Sucking in another fortifying breath, Tiana lifted the serving tray and carried it to the dining room. She avoided even glancing toward the stage, where the band was playing a rousing rendition of Jelly Roll Morton's Smokehouse Blues. She didn't want to take the chance of catching either Charlotte or Naveen's eye. As she looked out over the packed restaurant, pride made her chest swell up, like the giant silver airship she'd seen in the paper. Everyone seemed to be having the grandest time, their smiles and jubilant chatter mingling with the music from the band. She moved forward, spotting the three gentlemen sitting with Mr. LaBeouf. He looked as if he were holding court, his ample belly and overwhelming presence taking up more space than any of the night's other patrons. There wasn't an official monarch in this city, but if there had been, Tiana had no doubt who would reign as the King of New Orleans. There was no one more powerful living here than her best friend Charlotte's daddy, not even the mayor. As Tiana came to learn about over the years, politics only got you so far. The real power in this city, and probably in the world, was money. And Eli LaBeouf had a lot of it. As did the other men at the table, it seemed, judging by their posh clothes. What did Addie Mae say? They were councilmen? Tiana sighed, thinking about her own daddy and how, despite the fact that he was now a business owner, he would never fit in with Mr. LaBeouf's crowd. Not because he wasn't smart enough or didn't work hard enough, simply because of the matter of his birth and station in life. Because of the color of his skin. Same reason the Fenner brothers had refused to sell her the old sugar mill. The unfairness of it ranked. Tiana pushed the infuriating thoughts away as she came upon the table, focusing at the task at hand. Tiana! Mr. LaBeouf's joyful voice resonated throughout the dining hall. How's it going tonight? Before she could speak, he continued. Well, heck, I didn't have to ask you that. Just look at all the people in this place. No better restaurant in town. Why, thank you, Mr. LaBeouf, and thank you, gentlemen, for spending this Thursday before Mardi Gras at T&J Supper Club. We're honored to have you here. She placed a bowl of efouette before each of them, and said, Are you sure you don't want to try the jambalaya pasta? It's brand new, and everyone seems to like it. It can't be better than this here efouette, Mr. LaBeouf said. It's all I eat whenever I'm here. Well, all right. Tiana lifted her shoulders in a hapless shrug. You all enjoy your efouette. If there's anything else I can get you, just let me know, you hear? How about getting rid of that fog out there? One of the councilmen said with a laugh. Is it still foggy? Tiana asked. And it's getting thicker by the minute. You reckon it's something going on with the water? It seems to be worse down by the river. I thought maybe it was the stacks of the sugar mill or some of the other factories in the quarter, but your guess is as good as mine, she said. I just hope it clears up before Mardi Gras parades start rolling. No one wants a foggy Mardi Gras. The effects on the Fat Tuesday celebration weren't her only concern when it came to the bad weather. Tiana feared people would be afraid to venture away from home if things got so bad that it made traveling along the roads too dangerous. There were more and more of the new Ford Model Ts on the roadways these days, and there's no doubt one of them would crash into another if drivers couldn't see. The folks there in the Treme neighborhood loved to dine at the restaurant, but T&J's was beginning to see a fair number of patrons from other parts of the city. She wanted them all to be able to travel safely to and from the supper club. I should tend to some of the other tables, Tiana said. Remember, if y'all need anything, just let me know. When she turned, a stiff breeze ruffled the hem of her dress as a gentleman from a nearby table whizzed past her, his face hidden behind a newspaper. An eerie sensation skidded along Tiana's spine, raising the tiny hairs on her arms and the back of her neck. She shook off the feeling and turned her attention to the table with a bunch of her friends from the neighborhood sat. She'd known Georgia, Donald, Maddie, and Eugene since grade school, back when they all sat like quiet little mice in Mrs. Brown's classroom. Well, except for Georgia. That one could never keep her lips from flapping for very long. Hey there, y'all, Tiana greeted. Y'all having a good time? Sure are. We're having the best time. I just wish we were closer to the stage, Georgia remarked. Your place is so popular, people have to get here early if they want to get a good seat. It does get crowded, Tiana agreed with a smile. I gotta hand it to you, Tiana. You said you were going to open the restaurant one day, and you sure did. This place is the best spot in Trem. In all of New Orleans, Donald chimed in. Once again, Tiana's chest exploded with pride. It wasn't all that long ago that this was the same group of friends who would hound her to get out with them. And here they were, spending their night at her restaurant. And I love the crawfish crooners, Maddie said. I'm surprised that I haven't heard of them before they started playing here. The band leader, Lewis, just moved down from Shreveport, Tiana said quickly. But he's making a name for himself here in New Orleans. Y'all should go back tomorrow because we have a special guest band. Oh, yeah? Which one? Donald asked. Rudy Davis and the All-Stars. The entire table gasped as Tiana's smile widened. How'd you get Rudy Davis to agree to play at your restaurant? Georgia said. Ain't he up in Chicago now? New York, last I heard, Eugene said. Well, he's back in town for a few days, and he owed Louis a favor. Tiana nodded up to her stage. He filled in for Mr. Davis down at a jazz club in the quarters a while back and convinced him to stop by, and after Rudy had some of Daddy's gumbo, he agreed to perform next time he was in here. It's like y'all said, T&J's Supper Club is the best spot in all of New Orleans. Wow, Georgia said. Suddenly a new high-pitched voice cut through the crowd. Tia! Tiana turned to see Charlotte at a table just steps away from the stage. She frantically waved her hands in the air, motioning for Tiana to join her. Tiana glanced just past Charlotte and locked eyes with Naveen, who was staring directly at her. Her heart caught in her throat. Tiana quickly looked away. Well, thank y'all for coming tonight, she told her friends. But I need to get back to the kitchen. Gotta keep the hot food coming if y'all want to keep people happy. Tia! Lottie called again, but Tiana ignored her. She tucked the serving tray underneath her arm and pushed past the other tables and through the swinging door, desperate for the sanctuary the kitchen provided.